Top military officials continue to get grilled on the Afghanistan withdrawal, and already some contradictory statements. Time is running out on Capitol Hill as Democrats continue to push to pass two massive packages. On the docket, striking a compromise on a massive expansion of the social safety net and passing the around $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package. Also on the docket, the debt ceiling. All this while the government shutdown looms, and questions around what that would mean. Tune into Deep Dive as we explore these topics and more. Hello and welcome. This is Deep Dive and I'm Tiffany Meier. The hearing on the Afghanistan withdrawal continues, and already some contradictory statements. On Tuesday, Milley and McKenzie told senators they wanted to keep some troops in the country. That seems at odds with President Joe Biden's claim he couldn't recall getting that advice. The White House says no military advisor recommended a long-term troop presence in the country. McKenzie also diverged from Biden by stating that the war on terror is not over and the war in Afghanistan is not over. Today, the House Armed Services Committee is getting its turn to grill top U.S. military leaders about the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, General Mark Milley, and General Kenneth McKenzie testifying. Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee had strong words, saying maybe we are going to remember you three as the three that broke the military. I don't know. And Senator Josh Hawley calling on them to resign, saying,
General, I think you should resign. Secretary Austin, I think you should resign. I think this mission was a catastrophe. I think there's no other way to say it, and there has to be accountability. I respectfully submit it should begin with you.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin defending the exit, testifying the U.S. didn't believe Afghanistan would fall in a matter of days.
The fact that the Afghan army that we and our partners trained simply melted away, in many cases without firing a shot, took us all by surprise.
And what about the Americans in Afghanistan? Around 100 Americans and U.S. green card holders have been denied entry into the United States. Organizers of the charter flight say the Department of Homeland Security on Tuesday denied the flight to land. Brian Stern, a founder of nonprofit group Project Dynamo, said they will not allow a charter on an international flight into a U.S. port of entry. According to the groups, the evacuees included 59 children under the age of 18 and 16 under the age of 3. The DHS did not immediately respond to a request for comment. An administration official noted that this is security protocol, saying the U.S. government typically takes time to verify the manifests of charter planes before clearing them to land in the United States. Now, let's turn to Capitol Hill, where it's crunch time. Democrats continue to push to pass two massive packages, all while the government shutdown looms. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi now says there will be a vote on Thursday for the bipartisan infrastructure package, even if the larger bill expanding social safety net programs isn't ready to go. Pelosi's reversal has already upset some progressives.
But we will pass both bills.
On the docket, passing a continuing resolution that will continue to fund the government before it runs out of cash as soon as Friday. Lifting the debt ceiling before the government reaches that threshold by the middle of October, striking a compromise on a massive expansion of the social safety net that both moderate and progressives can agree on, and passing a bipartisan infrastructure bill that will offer up more than $1 trillion to fix roads and bridges across America. The problem is Democrats have tied several of these items together, and now they are trying to untangle them. When it comes to the debt ceiling and keeping the government open, House leaders say they have a plan.
So we have a number of things on the lift the debt ceiling, keep government open. We have to do those imminently.
The intra-party fight over infrastructure and reconciliation are the bigger problem. Speaker Pelosi wants a vote as soon as Thursday on the infrastructure plan, but progressives continue to say they won't vote yes without a guarantee about the bigger package.
She said that they need by tomorrow legislative language agreed to. That means
that won't happen.
That won't happen? Why is that?
No, listen, we haven't been negotiating yet in good faith. No one's been negotiating along those lines with the other party to see what would be acceptable. So all we need to do is pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, sit down and start negotiating in good faith. That's it.
Progressives want the package to be as big as $3.5 trillion and expand programs like Medicaid, pre-K, and the child tax credit. Moderates like Kyrsten Sinema and Manchin don't want to spend that much, but they are also not ready to say publicly how high they are willing to go. As a result, Democrats remain in a staring contest with the clock ticking and that big vote still scheduled for Thursday with no guarantees it will pass. And as for fears around the government shutting down, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spent Wednesday morning with her fellow Democrats discussing how to avoid that. At issue is the debt ceiling. Democrats want to raise how much money the federal government can borrow in order to keep paying government workers. But Republicans are against raising the debt limit. Pelosi says failing to raise it would affect all Americans.
I spent a good deal of time in the meeting talking about the debt ceiling because we have to get that done. It'd be like $15 trillion in household wealth would go down the drain. Unemployment would go up to 9%. It would double. It would be increased interest on car loans, credit card bills, mortgages, anything you're paying interest on. So this is something that has to be done. The fact that the Republicans are being so irresponsible is no surprise, but nonetheless disappointing, as always.
And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says raising the taxes would hurt Americans.
It was true about the Democrats' efforts to stuff a big amnesty for illegal immigrants into the bill. And it's especially true about the tidal wave of huge tax hikes and IRS snooping that Democrats are putting together behind closed doors. Taxes on small businesses, taxes on family farms, double taxes on the ones who pass the reins to the next generation. New taxes that would make America one of the least hospitable places in the world to invest, grow a business, or create jobs.
Republicans have said they won't vote for any funding measure that includes increasing the national debt.
You can't just keep spending money like this. I mean, if you look at right now, our interest expense is over $300 billion a year. That's with really low interest rates. If we go back to normalized interest rates, it's going to be very difficult to pay the interest and also fund all the programs we want to fund: Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, the military. We have got to now say we got to make structural change. We have to change what we're doing. We can't keep doing the exact same thing and think we're going to get different results. If you look at their plan to take us to $45 trillion of debt. I mean, let's say we go to 5% interest. How in God's green earth are we ever going to pay the interest? And what are you going to cut? So live within your means. You have to live within your means. Every family does. Every business does. And if you don't, something happens to you. We have got to figure this out.
Now, is the government likely to shut down? Well, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced on Wednesday on the floor that Democrats are crafting a stopgate bill. That's to fund the government through December to avert a shutdown. Schumer says the bill will extend government funding to December 3rd and will provide long-sought emergency relief to areas affected by Hurricane Ida, as well as emergency funding for the ongoing Afghan special immigrant crisis. On Monday, Senate Republicans successfully filibustered a bill with the same measures by blocking debate on the continuing resolution. Democrats have also emphasized that the nation's first ever default could arise from a failure to raise the debt ceiling. Republicans, meanwhile, argue that the crisis is of Democrats' own making. In a petition drafted by Senator Ron Johnson in early August, 46 Republican senators refused to approve a debt limit increase. They say that Democrats were on an unprecedented deficit spending spree and argue that approving a debt limit increase would enable future Democratic spending. For Democrats' stopgate measure to pass, at least 10 Republicans will need to join with the majority party. But so far, none have announced a plan to do so. The broad majority of Republicans continue to insist that Democrats raising the debt limit alone through reconciliation, even as the party remains hesitant to do so. For now, the clock continues to tick on. And now, before we end, Amazon is releasing a new gadget. It's like having a watchdog at your house that you don't have to feed or take for a walk. Meet Astro, an autonomous robot that zooms around by artificial intelligence and mapping technology, recording what it sees. Amazon unveiled its newest technology at a live-streamed event on Tuesday, and Astro has numerous cameras that can check to make sure you turn off the stove or check in on your loved ones or pets while you're out of the house. And like most real-life dogs, Astro can respond to voice commands. Amazon officials say the robot dog will launch in 2022, and it has a price tag of about $1,000. Among the other items Amazon displayed at the live stream event, an Echo device that acts as a digital whiteboard and a Ring security service that monitors a user's property. But what do you think? Let me know below. Thanks for tuning in to Deep Dive. I'm Tiffany Meier, and see you soon.